Hello everyone, welcome back to ESL Meisterschaft for the Spring 2015 League of Legends season.
You rustled my jimmies, Jason. Rustled my jimmies. Either way.
Machine's jimmies are rustled, but we have a game to get underway. We have ESG up against Sharks. Currently ESG winning 1-0 in this best of 3, so you can win or to play against the winners of Mouse Sports and Planet Key Dynamics a little bit later on. So let's go and drop you in the picks and bans because they have started and see actually who's banned out what and who's picked what for both these teams. ESG now rotating over to the blue side, and of course Evil Sharks on the red side. Let's get a little bit of music in there, get all the people at home happy, and walk us through the bans that we see coming in for both these teams.
Sure thing, Chicken Wing. We have seen Urgot, Janna, and Hecarim taken away from ESG this time. Very similar bans from last time. In fact, opting just to do them in a different order. And for the other side, this time Sharks taking away LeBlanc, Severe, and Nautilus. So the only kind of real notable ban there is going to be that Nautilus ban, taking it away from Sazed, obviously feeling that that was a bit of an issue in the early laning phase in the hands of Sazed.
So we're seeing Gragas, a little Graggy in there. He, wow. Sorry, he was played. Evil Sharks actually in the jungle in their group stages to get into this, these semifinals. But we're actually going to be seeing him on the side of ESG, so curious to see if that should be a fact in the jungle. I would assume he's going to be with San in that top side. But we're seeing Sejuani come out yet again out of Phantom Yo. Didn't have a bad game, didn't have a great game though. He had some good ultimates that helped turn things around. His early game presence was very passive. I mean, he tried to make ganks happen on the bottom side, but they were completely turned around time and time again by Centaurus, who just kept ulting in from the backside once he teleported in. Sazed, who's hovering for Kennen, played him a couple of times in the groups. Played really aggressive with the Ignite and the Flash, and I was kind of hoping to see it yet again.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does go back to it because he was so effective with it. The composition doesn't necessarily ask for a Kennen. In fact, it does actually really look to be based around that Braum pick. It's going to make a lot more sense as we do have the confirmed 5 now for ESG. We're going to be seeing Gragas, Lucian, Sion, Ziggs, and Braum.
Okay.
Sharks, though. You can see they have that confirmed bot lane. They have the jungler and the top, just looking for that mid pick. And, ooh, hovering over Vlad, something we've seen again. Another German side, Mouse Sports. Their mid laner Zio has been favouring that pick, and looks like we're going to be seeing it this time in the hands of Demon Eyes. It's interesting to see Avenue taking Ziggs against the guy who just picked Ziggs. So maybe he was inspired by Demon Eyes' pick, or perhaps it's probably more likely just kind of a 4th ban by taking it into the hands of Avenue.
It was picked actually 4th, so I don't know if I call it a 4th ban. I think it's just like a BM thing. He's like, you know what? I saw you play Ziggs, you sucked. I'm gonna play it better than you.
He's gonna show him how it's done, is it?
I mean, and I say you sucked, but he plays Ziggs way better than I would ever for Demon Eyes. But you know, getting aheads of him. But the Vladimir gonna be a decent pick. It mitigates actually a lot of damage, almost everything that Ziggs can do if he times his pull correctly. And then he's got the Sejuani, so they have a lot of damage on their team again. We're seeing the 3-tank lineup out of ESG for a 2nd time. That's one thing that helped you know, carry him through and pick up the victory. But I don't know. I mean, again, it came down to like mistakes. ESG had the game won for an extended period of time, and yet they couldn't close it out. And to me, that's a little bit worrisome, that you need to be able to finish it off, or you're going to be in trouble, or Barney Rubble, as you say.
I wasn't Barney Rubble just there. Wasn't ready. I was writing down the champions. I didn't even realize that we were loading into the rift. But we are doing just that. So we're going to be ready to bring you guys game number 2 now in this best of 3 in the Meisterschaft finals. It's going to be really interesting to see who is going to secure that first spot in the semis. Of course, ESG, after a couple of stumbles and an early lead, they did finally manage to secure that first victory. So we're going to be looking to see if they can pick it up in 2 or if we're going to see a 3rd.
All right, let's go ahead and hop into the game and see how this one's going to kick off. We have, again, on the blue side, it's going to be ESG. On the red side, sorry, I was just enjoying it. On the red side, it will be Evil Sharks. And let's see, let's go to the lineups for you guys at home who might be too familiar with the teams again. On the side of ESG, on Sion, we have Sartorius in the top lane, Lumberbear on Gragas in the jungle, Avenue on Ziggs in the mid lane, Shantao on Lucian in the bottom lane, with Sazed as support on Braum.
And so, going into this one, ESG v EVS. The Sharks, though, for you, if you're interested to know who's going to be playing where, we have Noe for you in the top lane, rocking the Maokai. Phantom Yo in the jungle on Sejuani for a second time already. Demonized, putting Ziggs to the side and opting for the Vlad. And in the bot lane, Brokey and Panda. This time, the only change there being the Kalista for Jinx, as they're going to be making that in the bot lane.
Well, looks like ESG with their 1-map lead, just going to chill back, you know, not be in a hurry. Play this one relatively safe, not going for any sort of invades. Wouldn't be the ESL Meisterschaft without the Oktoberfest grog skin.
Beautiful.
And the sweet accordion music that you hear. And actually, I've been to a like an old school German restaurant before, and they have like dancing and all that, and you actually hear like accordions and the barmaids dressed up and everything. It's pretty cool. It was back in Hanover for CBIT when we did the IEM World Championships back in 2012, if I remember correctly. But either way, get this game underway for these two teams. Sharks need to pick up a victory to get themselves out of hot water and to get themselves another chance to move on into the grand finals against the winner of Mouse Sports and Planet Key Dynamics, which will be a best of 3 that's happening right after this one. And a relatively slower start, but we are seeing a lane swap come into play.
Yeah, so ESG kind of forcing this one, deciding that they want to take
don't do it again.
He's doing it.
You have things to live for.
Executed. But he's going to be picking up that camp and heading on probably to that bot lane with... I mean, it's going to be a slight advantage, but it's not going to be enough to really deal with that double A Jinx Thresh combo. So we'll see how that one shapes up for him.
I wonder, so how long does Science passive last when he dies? It doesn't actually say. So could he like solo Baron if he was tanky enough? So Baron like wouldn't kill me and he'd out lifesteal it?
Oh, I don't think so.
Or do Dragon?
I feel like that's a YouTube video we'd have seen.
I feel like he can. Like there's no timer on it.
He'd probably just die. He'd get killed by Baron.
Right. But you have gained 100% lifesteal. So if you can out-heal the damage Baron does...
We'll see. I don't think that's possible.
I feel like that's a next level strategy. But then the other team would know, since Sana's been slain by Baron, that he's probably doing Baron.
You might think so.
I would hope so. I would hope so. All right, so we're going to see a little bit of a duel, or a little bit of a gank coming out of Saze, playing a little bit of a rotating support, or roaming support. Get some good damage on a Demonized. Forces him pretty low, but again, he's Vladimir. Doesn't have flash, but he has boots and the pots to stay alive in lane.
Opted for the Ghost and Ignite combo as well. He needs that movement speed to aid his escapes and defensive bit of maneuvers as well. No Way For You is probably going to be pretty happy with this swap, really. Let's be honest, Maokai is one of those top laners who can really kind of thrive in a lane swap scenario, just throwing out those saplings and picking up CS that way. He is going to take a couple of auto attacks, but he's Maokai after all. Especially once he gets a couple of items, he should be good as gold. Elsewhere, though, on the map, just 4 minutes into this one, and we are going to be seeing very little discrepancies across the board. The only kind of tiny discrepancy is going to be in that top lane. But I mean, when you got Sion v Maokai, Maokai is of course going to be having a little bit of an easier time farming that.
That was so BM by Brokey. I mean, it was actually really well played. But so Panda shielded him up. He kept the minion wave stopped here, so they would all attack the minion at the same time first. So that way the lane would shove, and because of that, he would miss out on so much CS for it and so much experience. That was actually really well played.
Playing the minion
it's a small little things.
No, it's the little intricacies that sometimes you can miss. So it's nice that you managed to spot that one, as that's going to force Sartorius to just back away and try and take something from the Krugs potentially. Nope, he's going on a wild goose chase towards the Raptor camp. Maybe going to pick up some XP there. In the meantime, though,
again, doing it.
I don't think he needs to this time. He's level 3. He's picked up a couple of pots and a flask. He should be ready for that one. Elsewhere, though, something that's going to be interesting to do, kind of observe, is Llama Bear. Of course, performing pretty damn well in the early game on Rek'Sai before. He this time picking up Gragas, a pick we've been seeing an awful lot of recently. And we'll see how this one shapes up for him. Phantom, though, has made his first appearance in the lane. It's going to be top lane, and instead of going for a gank, he's just going to look to try and force and aid this top lane. No Way For You. As they're just going to be slowly but surely whittling away at this wave.
Well, so they were trying to shove this wave into the turret, so that way the lane would reset. But unfortunately, they're keeping the minions here, so it won't go into the turret. So that way, now No Way For You is missing out on CS because of this.
And so we've spotted two good creep management or minion management. And now Panda is going to be just lucky enough, I think, to get away from this one. If he's going to play it right, he does have the shield. He's going to be forcing them to back away. And we're going to be seeing Sartorius and Llama Bear just have to observe as that low health Thresh sits idle in lane. Trying to kick the minion towards him. Didn't quite work out. And now 6 minutes in, we're going to be seeing ESG 1. Tiny advantage with the creep wave. But so far, both top laners just battling for any CS they can get.
the greatest way to kill this Maokai is to kick a minion into him. Because then you can yell, "Goal!"
We'll see, as now Panda is in the escape mode. He is going to be going down as he kind of got caught out. I don't know why he felt like he needed to recall so aggressively. He was in that second bush closest to the ESG turret. Cost him his life, and I mean, oversights like that could be the first step in a bad direction for the Sharks guys, as Panda was such an influential thresh in the game prior. We'll see if he can do it again. Not a good start, though, as some shopping is going to be done across the board. Finishing the revolver straight away for Demon Eyes, and that's going to give him a little bit more pushing power in lane.
And gives him sustain, most importantly, too, from that, so you can't really be pushed out too easily with the spell vamp that you get off of it. So that will help out quite a bit for him in lane. You shouldn't really be 1v1'd anymore by Avenue. Like, there should be no chance unless you do have Saze rotate around and get a stun off, or you have Llama Bear come in with the ultimate to push him in towards the middle of the lane. But nonetheless, Phantom Yo is going to be helping out. And the downside to a Vladimir, well, the upside is he won't really lose his lane. Ideally, he should not get 1v1'd because you have Pool, you have Ghost to escape. But he also can't really win his lane really heavily. Like, the kill potential on Vladimir is so difficult because you have to time everything perfectly and you have to know exactly how much damage you can do and then hope the other guy gets a little bit too cocky because you have to pop your ultimate down, Ghost in, you know, QE, you have to take a lot of damage yourself, Pool at the right time, Ignite. It's really difficult to solo anyone as Vladimir until way later on in the game. So it's going to be just kind of a standard that's just farm up from far away. None of us are really going to have a threat of dying unless the junglers or supports come in. And see where it goes from there.
And we'll see how this one shapes up. The Golden Dragon is being completed now at just 7 minutes into this one. As we're going to be seeing potentially the first dragon on the board. Looks like you can be given this one for free. As that's going to be maybe give them that tiny little edge. I say that. What? There we go. God, that took a little longer than expected. As we're going to be seeing that first 6% AD and AP given to the side of ESG. Now, Phantom lurking in the bushes on the side lane. There was definitely a ward there. It did just go away though, but Avenue's well aware of the enemy jungler's presence, and so he's not going to be going down anytime soon. As once again, Shanto is just going to be rocking that Lucian and looking to get as big a lead as he can. Let's not forget the 12 kills he picked up not too long ago.
I was actually expecting him to kind of just chill and be solo more in the lane, just 1v1 up against NoFU, because he's not really have a huge threat of dying. It's a good amount of poke. He can farm relatively easy. He should be fine for the most part. But instead, he actually has Saze sticking around for quite a long time. I think trying to get that level 6 so he can be more effective when it comes to these fights and these ganks. And Satori should be fine here at this turret. No real threat of dying unless Phantom lands a nice ultimate. But again, ESG off to a strong start. Sharks the ones playing from behind. Sharks did get the first dragon in the first game, but unfortunately not able to do it this time. So I wonder, like, are ESG going to be able to close out the game quicker if they do get the lead built up again? Or will they be that, you know, big 20-minute drag-on period where they're not sure how to finish the game?
It's a good question. It's got to be demoralizing either way, though, for the Sharks. The fact that they kind of clawed back from such a deficit to practically win. I mean, there was one fight where they were in the base destroying the Nexus turrets. And for that to turn around and just be thrown back in the face. Talk about that in a second. As Panda's going low, the TPs are coming out. There's a whole lot of cooldowns being thrown out here. As the TP's coming in, he's sticking it. No, if he wants blood, as does Brokey, throws out the Mega Death Rocket and gets just that. As another flash is then forced. Sartorius is just going to be thrown away by the wayside with his passive. And that's going to be a pretty effective balls to the walls gank there from Maokai as he used that TP and straight away, unflinchingly, Twisted advancing in. And that's going to be a turret on the back of that as well.
Shanto doing some good damage though to this tier 2 on the bottom side. We will have Phantom Yo coming in for a one-on-one duel. And Phantom Yo should be able to win this. This should be an easy trade for him, as long as he just goes in and commits the ultimate. But instead, just going to back away, not going to go for now, not really fancying his chances, not like sure everyone is on the other team, especially with Avenue back at base. But nonetheless, tying things up in kills, tying things up in turrets, gold almost tied. But there's still that one dragon that's keeping ESG in the lead.
And so, 10 minutes into the game, one Drake already gone the way of ESG. Level on turrets, level on gold. And so far, the only real kind of CS discrepancy is, I mean, it's nothing. It's minor, but it is in that top lane. But we have seen both of the top laners manage to thrive, or at least survive to an extent with this lane swap. Kind of favouring Maokai, as we kind of hinted at beforehand. But Sartorius' job is primarily just to be able to output the damage, even in death, which of course is where both of his deaths have come from. One from the camp, one from that dive we saw just a moment ago in the top lane. So, this is where it comes down to who is going to be able to make the least mistakes. It was something we saw happening in the game prior in this best of 3, and it came down to, quite literally, who knows how to end the game sooner. Both of them struggling, really, and there was basically slip-up after slip-up. But if ESG have kind of found the leaks, spotted the leaks, and managed to maybe tidy things up a little bit, this should be a game for them.
Well, ideally, it should be. That won't be a nice start on a nowhere for you, but we do have Phantom Yo coming in for the gank. Nice flash comes in. Does get the knock of Shinto again. Locked down with the ultimate as well. Gragas is going to knock them back, and here's Sartorius with the teleport in, able to provide them with a kill, all of them getting the assists in. That will leave their bottom turret vulnerable, though, to a push, and that should go down in the Sharks' favor, but they don't care. They're shoving this top turret. They want tier 2. They want more blood, and I don't know if you can hold this. There's not a lot of mana left on Llama Bear, and Sound's coming in with the ulti.
Is he going all the way? Looks like he might be. He was hungry for something. Instead, though, just going to end up at the turret and look to take that one down. This is going to be a quick couple of turrets for ESG. They managed to level it out now to 3 for 2. They're going to take the advantage once again as the gold lead continues to mount for ESG. 19.5 to just 17.5 is now Avenue, who's been quite quiet in this game. Once again, he's almost basically just... all he's done is changed his champion, as he has his Moral and Omicron as his first item once again. Giving him that mana regen, but also enabling...
No. Actually, on his Ahri, he went Luden's Echo first.
It was actually...
but it was Daemonize who went for that. But so he's keeping that build going. That cooldown reduction, regen, like you're saying, it synergizes so well for Ziggs, where you can just have a blue buff and just spam non-stop.
Gone are the days where we would see Athenes, as that item has kind of fallen by the wayside for the Morellos.
Well, I think in 5.8 it got a buff. So it actually might be better in 5.8, but since this is 5.7, I think they're still using the Merlinomicon.
Oh, wow, what a satchel charge. Isn't going to find too much, though, as Saze does connect. They could be going for this one. I think they are, and they have the damage. It's going to be beautifully executed there by ESG. A real team effort, and off the back of that, that's going to be a mid-turret. Saze again connecting. He seems to be so very accurate with this. Give him anything. Give him any champion, and he will be a support on it. We've seen him on Kennen. We've seen him now on Braum. We've seen him on Nautilus, not just 2 moments ago. And already... 3-1, and ESG starting to grow a lead. It feels like a bit of a replay from last game, Jason.
Yeah, and I feel like they're feeling a lot more confident too. I mean, we saw the first one come in at like 20 minutes in. Now it's coming a lot earlier than that. We've seen the next 3 kills come in just as quickly. I think they feel more confident. They're feeling that they can play like this because they're already 1 map in a lead, and that's a dangerous thing to go up against. You know, a team that doesn't really play with respect against you is really, really tough to get a read on and to do well against. And if ESG keep this pace up, like, they will have such a big lead a lot earlier on than they normally would have, and that should ideally help them close up the game quicker.
It certainly should. Looks like Sharks are going to try and do something, but Ziggs doing what Ziggs does best and just forcing them away from that turret. Something Ziggs has been capable of since the very spawn and dawn of Ziggs, which it just comes to when you want to defend a turret, put a Ziggs there and you should be okay. As Demonizer is going to be doing exactly what Vlad does best, which is just farming up. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a big mountain of gold build up. No, instead they're actually opting to not complete. We're off the back of the revolver, instead going straight for some MR, picking up that Spectre's Cowl as his second item.
So he's going for Spirit Visage. For the extra health he can get off of his abilities with the Hextech Revolver. So he's going more of a tanky Vladimir, not more of like a bursty, let's just pile in a ridiculous amount of damage on you as much as possible. I mean, with his passive, he gains health off of ability power, and he gains ability power off of health. So it's kind of standard to build like a little bit tanky on him. We'll see how that works out. I think you get health off of ability power. Yeah, there you go. 1 point of ability power gives 1.4 health. So he's going to be a really big nuisance, and it's really hard to lock him down, especially if you played Earth mode against him, which I know a lot of you have had to run into, where he can pool non-stop, but he can still pool quite a bit in these fights, especially if he builds a little bit of cooldown reduction, which he will have automatically off the Spirit Visage. And either way, Dragon number 2 going over to ESG, up 4-2 in turrets, up 2.3 thousand gold. Looking strong, looking pretty good.
Yeah, they're looking nice. Nicely controlled, I think, is a good way to summarize ESG's play here in the semi-final of the ESL Meisterschaft. Winner of this does, of course, progress to wait for their opponent in the grand finals. All of these will be best of 3s, as now Brokey and Phantom just doing their best to shove that lane back up from whence it came, as gold and turrets are still favouring ESG 4-2. That feels like those last 2 were added pretty damn quickly from ESG. as it's going to be the money game once again. And I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of good farmers on either side here. The Ziggs and the Vlad are both going to be picking up CS like nobody's business.
I'm just trying to think which one's going to be more impactful when it comes to the fights. I feel like Vladimir can do really well in the fight just because he can sit in the middle and just spam abilities based off of cooldowns.
Yeah.
And he can hit, everyone with his E. He can do a lot of damage with his Q to stay alive. His ultimate really provides a nice damage amplification to your team as well. But he'll be up against 3 tanks. Like Sartorius, Llama, and Saze will not let him really get past. I mean, you can obviously Ghost and just pool to get past him. But they still have a lot of CC with sound knockups with Gragas Barrel. Gragas slow as well off his body slam. And then you have Braum to get that, potential stun off his passive once he stacks up those 4 charges on you. So it's a little bit difficult for Demon Eyes to do much to get into the back lines. That's why he's built relatively tanky so far. But we'll see how it works out for the other team, for ESG. They have Shanto already at 1-0-1. We saw how much work he could do in that last game alone. And he's already built up some momentum. I'm actually curious why he's still sticking around here towards Dragon Pit. I actually don't know.
He's definitely not disconnected. I was looking at it, just a little concerned for a second there. But he's all good. He's just going to maybe waiting this one out, try and bait something. I really am unsure. Either way, they are going to be trying to maneuver through this mid lane. You can see that this top lane presence has finally become, once again, our top lane, as these guys are just going to be hitting each other as best they can. Interesting build path once for the Scion. They're going to be seeing that Spectre's Cow, Glacial Shroud picked up as well.
He's leveling up his pool second, Demon Eyes. Like, I mean, I don't know if that's a standard thing, but I normally level up your E because you have a lot more damage. And I guess the pool for the cooldown helps quite a bit. It's interesting to see that little bit of a change.
Maybe he knows he wants to be able to avoid anything Ziggs throws at him. Would make sense, especially for the laning phase. But then you also look down the entire lineup. You've got a Gragas Barrel, you've got a Braum Ultimate, you've got a lot of things that can be thrown at you that you can just pull under.
You do. It just hurts his wave clear a little bit, and Sion trying to get away, but he will get the flash and escape. Nice try by Nowhere for you to stop him from really going anywhere with that twisted advance. And Saves and Llama Bear still off to the sides to help out. They could just shove down middle avenue. It looks like he might want to start pushing for that, but his ward just wore off. Demon Eyes will be here to stop him from doing much. And you see how little damage he does against him too. Even forcing the Ghost. Wow.
Trying to do something with this top turret. This could very well be Sharks' 3rd turret if Sartorius can't clear the wave. Instead, though, he has been hooked under. So it's going to be a dive, and it could go one way or the other, as it's just going to be low health bars across the board. Saze flashing away. Doesn't look like Brokey's going to let it go easily, though, as there's going to be bloodshed on either side. It's a 2-for-1 so far, as they're looking for more. Brokey incredibly low. He's got another one, though. He takes a double kill with him, as it's going to be AD carry for AD carry. And as that one begins to settle, it's going to be a 3-for-2 exchange, favouring the EVS side. And the Sharks looking to maybe encircle and try and take a turret off the back of this one.
Let's see if they can. Shanto, he has a ward there, so he spots Damon coming around the corner, does some really good damage to him, but he's got to be careful. Ignite comes down, ultimate is available, but Damon Eyes can't get the right position to get it off, and Nowhere for you as well. Should be able to take Avenue down, the ultimate come in. Oh, some good damage. He does take one with him. The Ignite, will it be enough to take down Phantom? Yo, that's some real Nomicon. I'm an idiot. And that will be Shanto flashing in, though, to pick up the kill. Now Saze here. He gets the slow on a Damon. That's going to keep Shanto alive. And they might be able to pick up a kill if they just get a couple more auto attacks off.
Whoa, why didn't he get it while Braum was active? This is going to be still going to be picking up another kill. I believe one more auto attack's all it's going to take. That's the stun. That should be one dead Vladimir, as Demon Eyes is still running away. Finally, he does connect another one, but the pool is there. He's timed it to perfection as Sartorius connects just before the lantern landed, as another pool of blood is left. A slightly less alive one, though. As 8 to 5, that didn't make much sense. Oh, wow. That might have actually killed Delusion. I saw it glimmer.
So that was a 5-for-4 in favor of ESG.
That was not even a fight. That was just a complete brawl throughout the top lane.
Huh. All right, so they turn around. They pick up the advantage off of that. Still have, what, 3,000 gold. They Shanto. He should die from this, and he knows it. And that will be Brokey, guess, equalizing things up at 5-for-5 trade.
5-for-5 trade. Yeah. Oh, God, I need to take a deep breath. That felt like a incredibly drawn-out exchange. Either way, though, it's going to let the gold lead get a little bit more confusing. We're going to be seeing, once again, still that 4-for-2 turret discrepancy, but 34,000 to just 31, 3,000 gold separating these two teams now. And ESG, this next team fight means a whole lot to them. 25 seconds on that dragon, and that's probably where we're going to see these next two teams clash.
Let's see who gets a better position. You do have Brokey on the top lane, not really able to help out. You have Satori shoving down bottom, so they have to defend that turret. You have Shantou coming as well from the base. So this should be a dragon for ESG if they just rush it down. They have the positioning, they have the deep wards. They have control, even going to take away the blue buff, which isn't really going to matter too much for Damon I. He's not going to care. The cooldown would be nice, but that's just about it. And that should be dragon number 3 going over to ESG without any contesting.
I think they're probably making the wise call here, Sharks, realizing it's not really worth going in for this fight. They maybe try and catch some stragglers on the outside, though. As you can see, Sazed is well and truly ready for it. As another dragon picked up 3-0 now, and everything is pointing towards ESG. The question is, though, can they wrap this one up? And who's going to be standing there to stop them? Yes, you have that scary Jink. Brokey has been picking up a whole lot of kills, 4 for 1 already, just 20 minutes into this one. But other than that, Vladimir's still not really going to be too much of a threat. Yes, he's quite tanky, but is he going to be able to output enough damage to really force them off?
He can. It just takes a while. So it's all about his E. That does ridiculous damage once you do... Did he just pop Ghost? Yep, he just popped Ghost.
Oh, God. Well, that was not ideal in the clash of these two German teams. We're going to be seeing one of them use a very long cooldown summoner on the recall. Maybe he wanted to get back quicker. Maybe that was what it was. Or he just had, you know, the fat fingers problem. As it's going to be 210 seconds before we see that Ghost again.
It's
Crucial
got 40% cooldown reduction, but I feel like he has more than 40%. I'm pretty sure he has more than 40%. He's got 35 from items, and I think he has more than 5 from whatever.
You doing the maths?
Trying to, but we know how bad my math my math is on stream. But either way, so he has cooldown reduction, so it's easy to do ridiculous damage once he does level it up. So he's going to need that level 18 to really be a huge impact when it comes to these fights. But you can see how quick his Q is off cooldown. Like, you saw how long he lived being chased down by 3 people before when he died up in this area. So, he's going to be a big nuisance. And if he builds some ability power on the back of this, he's going to be a little bit difficult to deal. I actually wonder if he's going to go for the Rylai's Crystal Scepter as his next item for a little bit of slow and a little bit of extra HP. So he can be even more tanky. But we'll see. I mean, still relatively early game considering the last one. We're only like halfway through if we look at the last game, which was like 49 minutes long. And ESG, they feel like they lost their confidence. Or I think they lost their confidence. They're playing a lot slower, not as aggressive or cocky as they were before. Well,
that's probably because of that 5-for-5 kind of exchange in the top lane. It was a little bit of a kind of confusing one from a spectator's perspective, never mind a player's, as they're going to be looking to... kind of regain some of that confidence. That was what was kind of giving ESG these one-out exchanges, was because of their confidence, was because of these risks that they were taking. Now, though, they seem to have hit a bit more of a passive stride. We'll see, though.
Wait, he saw! He had a ward! Okay, I was going to say. Like, you know they're coming for you. Dude, kill some minions in the meantime. That dodge. That dodge on the rocket. Well done by him, but he got caught out. He was in a bad place, but luckily he doesn't give over any money for that, but he will have a 30-second death timer.
Smart plays once again from Shantou. This time not getting given these early kills he was gifted before, but he's making the best out of a bad situation. 30 CS behind Brokey in this one. But that won't be stopping him managing to output an incredible amount of damage. Opting for that Lucian versus Jinx, of course, that lane swap meant that they didn't actually meet in lane, but either way, so far the Shark City carry does have a minor lead in CS. Not so much so in items, though. You can see the Shiv to the Phantom Dancer, both of them with the IE as well, and so really it's just a pickaxe between them at this point.
So, we have the Last Whisper not complete for Brokey, so he's able to turn that pickaxe into that. He's actually ahead by like 500 gold. And Shantou's not really sitting on that much. I'm curious. Like, Shantou still has a lot of damage, but I feel like Brokey, like, when you have your Q out, the attack speed, I can't even remember the name. I hate Jinx. I hate playing her.
I love Jinx.
Fishbones. No, Pow Pow. Yeah, Pow Pow out. You do some... I played her only like twice, I think, since she's been out.
Oh, she's the best.
But her Pow Pow does ridiculous damage when you pair that in with Fitty Edge, the Phantom Dancer combo, and the Last Whisper. You attack so quick, and then also the Fishbones The AoE can do some ridiculous damage with the crits. But also you have no escape mechanism. And with Sion, Gragas, and Braum coming for you, you have to be a little bit careful. But I think
that's what Panda's for.
Yeah. Well, you have Panda, and then you also have Demon Eyes, who isn't going to offer CC, but he offers so much damage and becomes such a nuisance that they kind of have to worry about him before Brokey.
In that bottom lane, we're going to be seeing another push. Shantou just relentlessly pushing on for the objective. He's going to be picking that one up to level it out now to 5 for 2. That ain't level at all. Ignore me. As here comes the fight. They're going for Sazin. Sazin has been completely destroyed. He's actually flashing back under the turret, but he should just be delaying the inevitable, as there's a fantastic escape mechanism there set out by Panda, as now Sharks trying to get away for free, and I don't think they're going to be able to do so. I tell a lie. Phantom darting over the wall to safety, as that one's going to end with a pretty much a smile on the face for Sharks, who managed to take that turret and the kill at no extra cost. He did actually kind of lose out on that bot turret beforehand, though. So, 1-for-1 trade. Shantou dodging out on that skill shot, though. He could be in trouble, flashing away, waiting for the backup to arrive, but there's just kind of a fight all over the rift, as now Demon Eyes could potentially be trying to escape this one with...
They could have ulted him back in. I'm surprised they didn't go for it. Like, pull him backwards so Avenue and Shantou can take him down, but instead they back away. They want to save ultimates for Dragon, which is up in 20 seconds' time. And that would be the fourth one. Like, they're consistently getting the Dragons, even though the game is a lot closer now than it was previously. You're sitting at, what, 2.6, 2.7 thousand gold lead. Only 1 kill difference, 3 Dragons, and 2 turret difference. Sharks are a lot closer than obviously ESG would have liked. So now this game started, I mean, it was all ESG's way. They picked up, like, 3 Dragons. Or, sorry, like, they had 2 Dragons, like, 3 kills, 1 death, and they were really getting some momentum. Then that 5-on-5 brawl up here just really kind of set things astir.
It did, and I think what's got to come down to is these Dragons as well. 3 already picked up for ESG, and if they really do battle for it, if they do manage to secure that 5th, that could be the tipping point for them. So far, though, we are going to be seeing Sharks trying to take it away from them. I think they are going to. The Zigzag comes in. Oh, it wasn't far off. Wasn't enough, though, as here comes the brawl. Sejuani ultimate locking up Llama Bear. But it's not going to be enough, though. It was an AoE. Brokey just sitting at the back line doing what Jinx does best, as the Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't quite connect onto Sion. Finally does, though. That's a double kill already for the AD carry of the Sharks side. Panda's so low. Does go down, and it does end up with just 2 lying on the spawn timers for ESG to just the 1 of Sharks.
That was so close. Oh, that was such a crazy fight. Avenue, I don't know if his ultimate hit Dragon or not.
It looked like it just tipped it.
Because if it hit it, I feel like he should have had it. It does 1,000 damage. You know what? You know what? While we have time, I want to go back and look at it. Because I could have sworn it was
Make
like
sure you have the Dragon health bar. Ooh, do you see?
I feel like he just missed it.
Slow it down. Right. So, slow that down.
He just missed it because it got smited.
Okay. It just looked
no,
like...
Wait, no. His smite's on cooldown. Oh, never mind. He had it up. Yeah, that was too close for comfort, though. I feel like if it was just a sliver to the left more, he would have stolen that. That would have been their 4th Dragon.
I think you're right. Either way, though, he's probably going to be kicking himself if he'd have just centered that a little bit better. As now we're going to be seeing... It feels like it's going to be a long one, Jason. I think this is going to be one of those ones that does go for the long haul. As ESG, no stranger to the long game. Of course, they have just played one against this very team. And Sharks not going to let this one slip away from them just yet. They're all the way. Duisburg, of course. I probably butchered that as much as Jason did when in pronunciation. But either way.
I'm a little disappointed you said slip away. I thought you were going to say swim away.
I would have been 10 times better. You're not wrong. Either way.
Like, I have all these like puns ready for the Sharks, but they're not doing things right for me to use them.
I've got something. There's some Finding Nemo references.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, Sharks don't eat fish.
ESG are friends, not food.
Yeah, friends.
Either way, let's see what Brokey's got for us. 3,000. 3,000 is not the word I was trying to say. Let me try again. 300
on the water.
CS.
They're on the water too now. Back when they're home.
Oh, it's a river though.
Have you ever seen the movie Sharknado?
You know, I actually heard that that's incredibly.
It was like the worst movie. Of course, it's scientifically incorrect. How can sharks be
correct? It's 100%.
Scientifically correct?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, 100%. Apparently, scientists are claiming it's actually a really interesting biological study of the.
It's a phenomena.
Yeah. Either way, once again, these top lanes are doing exactly what they normally do, which is just hit each other pointlessly, aimlessly in that bot lane this time.
You know they're making a 3rd one, Sharknado 3.
I just want to know.
I saw like parts of number 2, and they actually somehow got funding for a third. I don't even.
Well, then, isn't there that one where it's like something like Octo Shark versus something else, and it's like
isn't it like bear versus shark? Or, no.
It's something.
Oh yeah. It's anything. It's like a shark. It's like Fizz and Tibbers. Isn't it? I don't know. You'll find it. We'll find it. Well, anyways, we'll go back to the game in the meantime. It's 9-9. Is a 1,500 goal lead in favor of ESG. What is it?
Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus from 2009.
Is that real? Oh, it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
I don't want to see that. Nope. I get the chills just thinking. I hate the. Oh god,
hey, man,
I really hate
it
the
has
ocean.
a 2.5 star rating.
You know,
so
we'll watch that later.
We'll watch that later. Either way, though, films aside, we are once again waiting for these teams to take the next step. 31 minutes on the countdown, and these guys could not be any more level. Just 1,000 gold separating these two teams, so I suppose they could be, but pretty inseparable at this point. Consider the gold lead, though, because the gold lead is pretty much non-existent at this point, despite there being 2 turrets extra on the side of ESG. That suggests that those solo carries are really doing their picking up the CS when they need to. When you have Vlad and Jinx, though, it's no tough task.
So Sharknado? No, I'm just kidding. I mean, because there's nothing to talk about currently. Like we're just waiting. We're just waiting for them to fight. Like. Dragon's up in 1:45, so that's the next objective they're going to be going for. Baron isn't really a possibility for now. It got pinged, yeah, but that's because they have no vision of it. They don't know if it's even being done, so they have to check it out. But all they have is this little ward. They need to clear all this vision from this area. But they're just waiting for the next objective. Like, both teams are hesitant to fight. Both teams are so close on gold that they're just like, all right, well, let's not make a mistake like we saw just in the game prior. It's just a waiting game. Waiting for someone to get out of position, waiting for Dragon to come up. Like that's all it is currently. As you see the team just still farm up, try to build up some items. I mean, look at Ziggs. He has like 4 items completed. Or, yeah, 4 items completed. Like,
his
he's good to go.
Will do a huge amount of damage now if he actually connects with one. At this point, he's just going to be constantly spamming them out. He's got the mana regen to do just that, especially when he's got the blue buff as well. So he can just spam it out. And it looks like Shanto is the one to try and make something happen, throwing out the culling, meaning Demon Eyes is going to have to maybe potentially take that Thresh Lantern instead, though, deciding nope, he can heal off the minions, which his lifesteal is looking pretty terrifying. He has the Will of Ancients, he also has that Spirit's Visage, and so he's pretty set. As opposed to what? Visage? How do you say it?
No, I was trying to do like snobby British accent.
How do you say visage?
Visage.
How do you say it?
Oh, Spirit Visage.
Visage.
But I don't go visage.
Visage. I say visage, I think.
Leviosa.
Spirit's visage.
Alright, looks like they have been able to catch out. No way for you. Righteous Glory away. Look at the sloth. Look at the lantern away. And he gets the escape.
Panda is everywhere. He's everywhere and nowhere, this guy.
You would think he wouldn't be, because pandas are lazy.
But he still stepped it up. I had to give you a little moment of silence just to stew in that pun.
No, it was great.
It was really good.
It was fantastic double entendre.
Oh, God, you're unstoppable. Ward's going out, though. They're going to be looking to try and battle for this dragon control. And you said before it's going to be a big one, because it certainly is. I know the enemy team having 4 dragons sounds an awful lot worse than us having 2. As they're going to be looking to pick this one up as a freebie. And looks like they are. They're just going to accept it. And they realise that ESG would win out on that team fight if everything went to plan for them. And now 4 dragons to 1. And ESG, that's kind of their biggest thing going for them at this point.
That they're able to get so many dragons in the first 35 minutes. I'm thinking about now, where does it go from here? Are they going to go for Baron? I would think no. I think they're waiting for a dragon to respawn. They want their fist. I'm serious. Like, if they can't catch out someone, then they're waiting for dragon, because they're not going to go for Baron. Like, there's no point in going for Baron yet. Like, yeah, I would help you push, but it's such a risky move to do. And especially when both teams don't want to make a mistake, it's just going to come down to, all right, we'll have Satorius push bottom, get some farm, get a little bit tankier, keep some pressure on the bottom lane. We might shove out top a little bit too. Wait for the next objective to come up, or wait for someone to be out of position. Like, that's all it is.
And in the meantime, Brokey is just raking in gold. 7 kills already, as well as 360 CS. He has a mountain of gold to go home and spend. About 2,000 gold he's going to be adding to his collection, and opting to pick up a Bloodthirster. So trying to increase his survivability, increase that lifesteal, or that shield anyway.
So you think I'm kidding, but look at this. He just pushes bottom, plays it safe. He has a ward here to help him get away. Middle isn't even crossing this line. It's just like an imaginary line that they're like, all right, we cannot go past. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, and just wait. Top, No one's even bothering being up there currently.
Well, Brokey was, and he's going to be going back in a second, but you're right. Does seem to be a bit of
wait
a
for Dragon,
standoff. Yeah.
or wait for someone to get out of position. That's all it is. It's become an objective game.
And so, he said it's kind of a matter of catching someone off or going for those objectives. And before we said who is going to kind of step wrong. Oh, great positioning from Shantou. Managed to take that wood down before it does disappear into Vision. As the battle for Vision is going to go on once again. They're going to basically try and bait it out.
There's a word there. There's a word there. I mean, you're not going to... This is what they can see.
Well, now they can see
they
all
really
they do go for the scrying. This is a risk. Here comes the TP, and Sharks realize this is going to be a bit of a mistake potentially, as here comes the brawl. Here comes the Ziggs bomb as well. Brokey brought low. He should be the primary focus, though. He's the man with the damage. He is the man who can really put out the numbers, but ESG have been kind of distracted by Demonizers. It's going to be a 1-for-1 already. Mid laner for top laner is a pretty decent trade, but it's not over yet, as Panda's going low.
It's not over, and look at this Panda. He's very low on HP, and he should be falling from this one. Just a few seconds, Shantou will have the dash over the wall in just a few seconds. He will fall. And Sharks, they tried to make a play. They got fed up with waiting around. They went for Baron. They baited the enemy in. And honestly, credit to Sartorius for just forcing Brokey out of that fight for the entire time. No way for you, though. He's sticking around. He's trying to maybe stop this Baron from being done. This Baron is... They should not be doing this Baron. This is like push middle, get a free turret. There's no reason to do this, and they're going to take so much damage from that. And that's going to delay the game a little bit more. Get some good chip damage as they turn it back around. But 2-for-2 trade.
Yeah, Saze did get caught out by that Mega Death Rocket. Brokey was just sitting by the sidelines, despite having a fraction of health just a moment ago. He has, of course, stolen all that health back, and he is back in the game, looking to push out on this mid-turret avenue, just narrowly escaping that zap, as this mid-turret is just going to be well defended by Ziggs. No surprises there, and you're right. I think that was a massive oversight. They could have very easily just turned that around and taken a mid-turret. Instead, though, they looked for more blood, and this game is in for the long one, as it is once again a level playing field, or close enough.
It's not EUS till you hit 40 minutes, at least.
Well, they are going potentially for another Baron here, as another gold lead step is taken by the Sharks side. This could go horribly wrong if they're not too careful. They are starting the Baron, and they are going to be kind of pincered in. Here comes the Ziggs bomb. It's a whole lot of AoE, and there's going to be another fight. This time, though, the front line is not so formatted. Going to be seeing, once again, the gold to pool style taken from Demonizer. As soon as he's out, though, he is down and out. In the meantime, the front line doing what the front line does best. Brokey thrown into the center of them, though, and that's going to be another one. Triple kill already. Make it a quadra.
Penta.
He's looking for a penta. It's going to be stolen away from Avenue, or by Avenue, excuse me, as the Baron is going to come in, and ESG thrive as the Sharks spend too much time in the pool.
And you would think the Sharks would learn. Like, they went for Baron last time. They lost the fight. They ended up equaling things out because of a nice ultimate coming out of Brokey. They do it again, and Sartorius did the exact same thing he did in the first fight. He forced out Brokey, forced him back constantly, forced actually 3 people back to defend. I think it was No Way For You, Panda, and Brokey. He stayed alive, and then it allowed Shantou, as long as he was protected by Gragas and protected by Sazed, and even Avenue, to just pick up some easy kills like that. There was no reason for that. That was a major mess up by Sharks. And now 16-11, 40 minutes in. The gold lead starting to tick away at 7.4 thousand. ESG with Baron buff now and dragging up in about 50 seconds time. Like, this should be their game. This should be able to push in and get so many turrets down. And even if they have the 5th Dragon stack on top of this, they should be able to take turrets down and get an inhibitor off of this. Like, this should be an inhibitor guaranteed.
That would be insane. Baron buffed minions surrounded by 5-stack Dragon buffed team. That would be a force to reckon with. 9 kills on the AD carry as well. He's managed to catch up Shantou with that 4 kill, quadra kill I should say. It's going to be starting to level it out and be even more of a threat, as they are just dancing around waiting that 20 seconds out for the Dragon, trying to clear as much vision as they can. You can see they do manage to catch another one, as it's just going to be a matter of time. Once again, time is a kind of a massive factor in this game here, Jason.
40 minutes of factors. I don't know if that makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense. No. Well, with Dragon up in 2 seconds, they're just waiting. And they will be able to clean this one up very quickly. I mean, Sharks, either they fight or they back away. Like, you don't give yourself a chance to be picked off one by one. Like, you can test the Dragon or you just give it up. And they're going to be giving this up completely. 5th stack of Dragon buff coming for ESG. And Euronics Gaming, they're going to be looking for the push. This is going to be hard to really contest. I'm looking for the bottom inhibitor, it seems. I
mean, that's terrifying. 5-stack Dragon, Baron buff, 9 kill AD carry as well, who's going to be supported by a very very healthy, I should say, front line when you have a very tanky Scion supported by that Braum as well. 13 assists under his belt, so he's got a whole lot of money as well. So we'll see how this one shapes up as the Sharks are ready to defend their bottom side. We'll see that there's a whole lot of minions in their purple as they're looking for blood, as it's going to be a case of just clearing the ESG front line, and I don't think that's going to be a task that really Sharks are up for.
Well, free inhibitor for them. Looks like they will back off without trying to fight. Looks like they shoved down middle as well to get another turn on top of this. No reason not to.
Surprised they're not just going for the dive. They've got a very tanky Scion who can just tank it up.
He didn't even pop a shield from that.
Yeah.
Actually, they might rotate top because there's a huge minion wave shoving.
Ah, okay. They can buff them up. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, as long as they have one man there, they should be able to. And this, I mean, alone, this minion wave can do some good damage to the turret. 2 canyon minions there, too. There's going to be a brawl, though. There has to be a brawl coming. Like, Sharks cannot sit here and just, like, wait forever. The dragon buff should be fading off relatively soon. Actually, not even halfway done yet. Oh, God. So they should, I mean, they kind of need to fight to keep inhibitors alive, but even if they do that, they're at a deficit, and there we go. Phantom Yo getting caught out a little bit, takes quite a bit of damage. Satori's taking up the turret, he's going to get locked down under the turret, trying to back away from this. The turret's still alive, not taking any damage. Shanto able to pick up the first kill, though, onto Vladimir, and Shanto getting pulled into the back lines, but he's not being capitalized on. He's in the back lines, but he's just doing free damage. He's not being hit, and that should be almost a delayed ace coming in with Phantom Yo the last man alive. And with Super Minions now shoving bottom, and with them just going for a free turret in middle, this should be the game.
This could be curtains for Sharks. This could be a 2-0 in this best of 3. They're all the way in Duisburg. They've done so well to get here, but it looks like the ESG side have maybe, just maybe, secured their spot in the finals of the ESL Meisterschaft. The last turret, Nexus turret, sorry, is going to be falling, and ESG have done it in 2. It wasn't the neatest 2, but the second certainly suggests there's more to come from them as they pick it up with a smile on their face and a good-looking chat from their opponents.
Well done. 10-6 or 10-2 and 6 for Shantou. 4-5-10 for Satoris. You had 4-1-11 for Avenue. Again, not really a super impactful player, but he's always farming.
Yeah.
He's always there like when your team needs him, and he always does a ridiculous amount of damage in fights. I'm actually curious to see his damage graph if I can look at it after the game's closed. Nope, of course the game crashes. But you can look at it for me.
I can show you it. Hang on.
And we can see how much damage he did to champions. I feel like it was really high.
Holy moly.
51,000. And the next closest person to him was 26,000.
Welcome to Ziggs.
That's damage dealt to champions. That's just not damage dealt.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he was just constantly throwing out bombs. Every blue buff was given to him, both theirs and the enemy, and he was throwing out so much damage relentlessly that he managed to prevail in that one. But ESG shaping up quite nicely. Players to watch, Sazed and his support picks, can have my eyes on him when we do get to that grand final, as well as, of course, the Avenue in that mid lane. So lots of kind of strong individual performances from them. Commiserations where it's due, though. Sharks probably missed their trick in that first game. They were given an opportunity to win out, and it didn't kind of come into fruition. So for them, not the best. And to ESG, they just have to wait to see their opponents.
Well, speaking of their opponents, we'll be having Mouse Sports up against Planet Key Dynamics in just a few minutes, guys. Oh, man, I still feel like I'm sick. But when we come back in about, I'd say 10, 15, 20 minutes time, because they have to set up their PCs on stage and they have to get ready for the game and warm up and all that such. We'll be back with that best of 3 to determine who's going to be going on playing against ESG in the grand finals of the ESL Meisterschaft Spring 2015. We'll be back in just a few.